Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. Glad to be out here on the Spotsylvania battlefield. We'll be going kind of day by day over the course of the campaign here. And so 155 years ago, May 16th, it was still raining. We talked about the rain starting on the 11th of May. It's still going through. We won't see the sun peek through here until tomorrow. So that's going to make things a little quiet here at Spotsylvania as Grant tries to maneuver and kind of get bogged down in the mud. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I'm standing along Burnside Drive, past the east face of the Muleshoe. You can see trenches along the Park Road through here. See them stretching there behind me and kind of heading off up into that direction. On the 11th of May, Burnside's men had been stationed back along the Fredericksburg Road, today in the area known as Stevenson Ridge, my family's property. They had attacked the eastern face of the Muleshoe, which from where I'm standing is in that direction. So let me go and kind of point off there, that way. There's my car. And after the repulse, they kind of fell back and dug in along this area. And then and later in the day on the 12th, they're going to attack off in that direction toward Heath's salient, also be repulsed, and then they're going to kind of hunker in. What that's going to do by the 13th of May is really kind of bring Burnside closer to the rest of the army, and he's going to have inched away from the Fredericksburg Road. Grant really wants to make sure the Fredericksburg Road is secured because that's going to be a key supply line for him. Right now he's still bringing supplies down from Culpeper, which is some 30 miles off in that direction. If he can capture the Fredericksburg Road, secure it, that's going to allow him to consolidate his supply line and bring supplies down from Fredericksburg, only 10 miles away. The infrastructure still exists when the Army had occupied the area in 62, 63, so he's got transportation, he's got communications, he's got logistical systems. That's really going to be a huge, huge benefit because, of course, he's got numerical superiority, he's got all sorts of supply superiority, and this is going to then give him logistical superiority. So that's going to be key. In order to make sure that he's got that firm grip, what he's going to do is he's going to leave Burnside here, but he's going to shift other portions of his army behind Burnside into position down in that direction. He realizes that he's not going to be able to get at Lee off in Lee's position and what had formerly been the Muleshoe. Lee's got a very strong fallback position. So what Grant's going to do is slide the 5th Corps all the way from Laurel Hill behind the 9th Corps and into place on the 9th Corps' left. Then he's going to take the 6th Corps, which is kind of filling that area by today's exhibit shelter, down toward tour stop number 2, Upton's Attack Road, and he's going to shift them all the way past the 9th Corps, past the 5th Corps, and then down to the left of the 5th Corps. That's going to make the 2nd Corps, which is sort of in the area around the tip of the Muleshoe, the old Muleshoe, that's going to make them the extreme right of the army, stretching all the way down to the 6th Corps, which will be the left. So let's take a walk down to the Fredericksburg Road. We'll talk just a little bit more about the formation of the army and what Grant does next. And when I say walk, what I really mean is that I'm going to walk across the road and get back into my car and drive down there, do a fancy little dissolve on my phone, and pick up the narration then. And through the magic of technology, I have suddenly changed my location. I'm at the end of the Parks Road. You can see the Fredericksburg Road behind me there. You might see some cars zipping back and forth. Modern Route 208, Courthouse Road today. That's really kind of the area that Grant has to have secure. Behind me here along the Park Road, and those bushes behind me, there are earthworks originally built by the 9th Corps, now occupied starting on the morning of the 14th by the 5th Corps. Grant had shifted the 5th Corps here. The 6th Corps is going to be positioned off in that direction even further. And the idea is that he wants to launch a major attack in the morning of the 14th. But as I mentioned, the rain really has bogged things down, so the troops are not able to get into position in time to do that. They do launch an attack against the Confederate Heights, kind of back in that direction behind me, called Myers Hill, highest spot on the battlefield. We talked a little bit about that in an earlier video. The Central Virginia Battlefield Trust is in the process of preserving that whole piece of ground, a fantastic find. Here at the park tour stop, there are a couple waysides. One of them offers a little map here, and this sort of tells you, thankfully, you are here. And so we can see how Grant has extended his line in this direction. Lee is trying to match him by moving off in that direction. That's going to control the roads. Eventually, Grant's going to be able to pull out from here. Here's the action that takes place on Myers Hill on May 14th. Otherwise, it's sit and wait, and it's kind of a staring match. Aside from that, things along this front really kind of bogged down because of the rain. One soldier talks about in the pit, starting on the 14th, the 15th, the 16th. And I think about the rain coming down, the mud in these trenches. That's got to be the pits for sure. Other troops describe it as being in battle line, but they're in these works that are here behind me, waiting for the weather to clear up, waiting for some sort of opportunity. Grant kind of checking things out. Gouverneur K. Warren, 5th Corps commander in this area, and he really spends his time getting his position consolidated, improving his logistics. He cuts a new road to bring supplies in, but other than that, they're just sort of biding their time, waiting for the sun to come out. As little orphan Annie said, though, the sun will come out tomorrow, you can bet your bottom dollar. And starting on the 17th, that sun will peek through, and that's going to change the dynamics here along the Eastern Front and elsewhere along the line here at Fredericksburg, or to Spotsylvania, excuse me. So we'll talk about that a little bit in our next video. Glad to have you with us here as we're tracing the 155th anniversary of Spotsylvania Courthouse. I'm Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War.